Hello everybody, this is the Fantasy Father here. I'm here to bring you my Week 11 sit-downs. So let's see who needs to be sat this week. First, I have Kirk Cousins going against the Carolina Panthers, $6,900 on FanDuel, $5,300 on Draftings. And if you remember from my videos last week, Kirk Cousins was a start last week for me in FanDuel and Draftings. He had a phenomenal game. If you picked him, you're welcome. I picked him in a few leagues as well, but this week I'm telling you need to sit him. This is a very tough matchup against the Carolina Panthers. They're only averaging 5.5 yards per attempt. Not a great matchup here. I think Kirk Cousins comes back to earth this week, so look to get him out of your lineup this week if you can. Second, I have Jordan Matthews going against Tampa Bay, $6,300 on FanDuel, $6,000 on DraftKings. How many people were fooled last week with Jordan Matthews? He had a great game the week before against the Cowboys, putting up 21 fantasy points. And then last week he only got 2. I think Jordan Matthews is fool's gold. And if you're looking to make that playoff push in fantasy, you can't afford someone like Jordan Matthews that's boom or bust. So look to get him out of your lineup if you can. If you have another viable option, something that's a little more safer, because you never know what Jordan Matthews he could do. He's boom or bust, and you do not want that in fantasy football. Third, I have James Starks going against Minnesota, $6,200 on FanDuel, $5,300 on DraftKings. The Packers' offense last week was as bad as I've seen it in a long time. They're not running the ball well. They didn't do a lot of good things last week, and it's not a very good matchup for James Starks. Minnesota does allow some rushing yards, but they're very stingy when it comes to rushing touchdowns, so I do not think James Starks scores here, so look to get James Starks out of your lineup if you can. Fourth, I have Vernon Davis going against Chicago Bears, $5,000 on FanDuel, only $2,500 on DraftKings. Vernon Davis has increased his role with Denver since joining the team each week, but it's still not enough to put him in your starting lineup. Even Vernon Davis himself has said he thought he would be further along than he is by now. Last, I have Joique Bell and all running backs that play for the Detroit Lions going against Oakland this week. Joique Bell is $5,400 on FanDuel, $3,300 on DraftKings. But as you know, the Lions' rushing attack has been awful. Last week, Joique Bell had 14 carries for 17 yards. If you have any Detroit Lion backs, get them out of your lineup. Drop them. I have no problem with that. Trade them if there's somebody out there that'll take them. But do not start them this week. A decent matchup against Oakland, but I do not like any Detroit back this week at all. So that brings you my Week 11 picks. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like this channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me some feedback. You can also follow me on Twitter at FantasyTeach.